Before we begin today's video, I'd like to encourage all of you Dayz server owners to come join my Discord if you really want to take your server to the next level. You'll find everything from the basic XML guides to definitions, some really good JSON builds, proxy builds, along with advanced XML. The link to join my Discord will be on all of my YouTube videos. See you guys there. Hello YouTube and welcome back to another video on my channel. In today's video, I'll be showing you guys how you can build your trader, your base for PlayStation or Xbox servers. Now, even though this tutorial is for console servers, however, you do need a gaming PC. A gaming PC that is at least good enough to run Dayz and then install Dayz editor on it. The better the PC, the higher the specs, the easier this will be for you because it'll be a much smoother experience, less to no crashes on a solid high-end PC. Now, to get started, if you have Dayz editor good to go, simply get to where you want to be on the map. So for example, I'm on Chernoris, M brings up the map. Say I would like to drop something in the airfield. Now I will take myself to the airfield, click on the wheel, and then that will teleport me to the airfield. Now once in the airfield, for example, I would like to build something here. Firstly, and this is a very important step, make sure you save. Call your save whatever you want. In my case, I'll just call it test whatever. Once it's saved, this will make sure that even if something happens, if my game crashes or whatever, if the power goes out or literally anything, I'll be able to come back to the last save. Once we're here, for example, you can just search whatever you like on the left-hand side. If you're not seeing the things I am seeing on your editor, you probably haven't checked the private objects. Make sure that is checked always. So I'll just search ATC. For example, I'm going to add in the ATC building. It's simply just drag and drop, but if you're not happy with how it dropped, hold Alt, and then move the building by left clicking on your mouse. That'll allow you to elevate to your liking. And then to rotate, just hold Shift, and then again left click on the mouse and rotate to your liking. If you'd like to scale the building, double click. That'll pull up the properties. You'll see something called scale, then you can just scale it to your liking. And you can also, for more precise placement, you can adjust the numbers in the coordinates in the properties to your liking. Or you could just simply roll the wheel on it too. Now, if I'm happy with the position of the ATC building, I'm always going to save just in case. Now, obviously, there's no limit. You know, you can do whatever you want. You can bring in wrecked vehicles. You can drop walls. You can literally do whatever you want. But just to keep the video as short as possible, I'm just going to stay with the ATC building for now. Console servers, as you guys know, we don't have traders like PC. So we don't have automated traders where there is money and so on. Instead, what the console community is able to do is we can spawn in loot via JSON object spawner. So for example, I am going to spawn in, say, a canteen. Now, do keep in mind, sometimes the items are not named on Dayz editor what they're actually named in the game. So you might have a bit of difficulty with that, but it's nothing impossible. I'm pretty sure you guys will get the hang of it. So now that I'm happy with how the canteen is placed, I'm just gonna drop me honey as well. There's no limit as to how many items you can add in. You could just keep going and just add however many items you want. And once you're happy with your build, everything is good to go. Something to keep in mind, these loot items, when loaded into your console server, if I pick the canteen up, the honey, and I want more, I could just manually restart the server and they'll come back, or just an automatic restart will do it too. And there's no limit as to how many you can pull out of it, but it'll only restock every server restart. So that's, it's good. If you need more, you could just, add more. However, just try not to go too crazy because console servers are known to be a little laggy compared to PC servers. So, for example, now I'm happy with my build. I'm going to save. And this is a very important step. After saving, I'm happy with the build. Okay, I'd like to upload it to my console server now. I'm going to go to File. There's an option called Export to Object Spawner. And you could either export as is, or you could just, call it something. I'll call it upload, for example. Once the file is generated and it's exported as an object spawner, it'll be in a folder that Dayz Editor creates for you on your PC. Now, where that folder is going to be, it's not something I'll be able to tell you, but most likely it will be on the, wherever you have your game. So it's basically, it'll create the folder within the game files. So it will be there. Once you make your way to the editor folder, you could also just search for the file name on your PC as well. That should pull it up too. So in my case, I'll just search upload, and there it is. Okay, so I have the file. The file is ready. Now, I'm going to go to my console server. So again, PlayStation or Xbox, there's no difference. It's the same for both. The very first step is I'm going to make sure CFG gameplay is enabled. Save changes. That's in the general settings, by the way. Once that's saved, I'm going to go to the file browser. I had such negative reviews about people saying, "Oh, why do you have, why is the screen not full," and so on. So I'm gonna, yeah, my bad. I'll just make it full screen. Once you open the file browser, Dayz PS missions for PlayStation. If it's an Xbox server, it'll say Dayz XP missions. Now, depending on your map, so in my case, it's Chernoris. I'm going to choose Dayz Offline Chernoris Plus. If you're Livonia, you can pick Enoch. If you're Sakal, you can just choose Sakal. The next file I'm going to open is cfggameplay.json. I'm going to find this line called Object Spawner. Now, if you go to my Discord, find a channel called Custom, you'll see that I have a written guide for this, so a text guide that you can follow. There's an example you can just copy and replace your original object spawner line, but make sure not to get rid of the comma. Also, it's not a good idea to edit the file on CFG game on Nitrado itself, because it's not going to let you know if there's a mistake. That's why on all of my YouTube videos, I always leave a link to the validators. There's an XML validator and a JSON validator. In this example, we need the JSON validator because CFG gameplay is a JSON file. So if you're editing the file here and you make a mistake, it'll stop you instantly. That's why I like to work, here. So it just lets you know you don't have to focus too much because it'll just stop you if you made a mistake. Now that you have the line, you can literally call the file whatever you want. In my case, I'm just going to call it custom/upload.json. Once I'm happy with how the file is looking, Control A, highlight the whole file, copy, and paste it over my CFG gameplay file. Then I'm going to go back and make my way to a folder called custom. In the custom folder, I'm going to make another file, and I'm going to call it exactly upload.json. It needs to be exactly the same name. Otherwise, the game engine will not recognize it. And yes, it's also case sensitive. It's that sensitive that if I even make an extra space, it won't recognize it. So it needs to be exactly the same. Once that file is generated, I'm going to go to the file I just created on Dayz editor, and I'm going to open any day now. Okay. There we are. So it's got the ATC, the canteen, and the honey. Control A, I'm going to highlight the file. And I'm going to paste it in the new file I just created. Save changes and restart your server, and that should be it. Once I get to that spot in game, I'll have the things I created be there. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Dayz related content.